Welcome to Vendor Risk Management Week. Before recording this course, I was listening to a security podcast talking about a third-party security company's software update being compromised and that resulting in access to US government and technology services networks. Events such as this help us realize how important it is to understand if your suppliers are taking cybersecurity seriously. By the end of this course, you will be able to identify supply chain threats and the security of your vendors and how it might impact your organization. You will be able to speak about the vendor risk management benefits, not only how it benefits your business, but also the security posture for present and the future. We will describe different steps that make up the vendor risk management program. Let's talk about some of the supply chain attacks that were noteworthy in recent past. Towards the end of 2020, FireEye and other cybersecurity firms identified how a network and security monitoring tool from SolarWinds resulted in compromise of US government and tech company systems. The attackers had compromised the SolarWinds Orion's update process and were able to use those updates to deliver malware and remained undetected for what could be months. In 2019, ASUS update process was compromised, and it was used to deliver malware to hundreds of thousands of its customers. While the hackers were only targeting a few hundred customers of ASUS, about 500,000 people in the US downloaded that update. In spring of 2017, a nation-state actor was able to modify the code behind a financial software company MEDOC with NotPetya malware. This package was then downloaded by financial companies across the globe. Even though the original target was only Ukraine, it spread across the world. Now, NotPetya is an interesting one because while it resembled Petya ransomware, it was not a ransomware itself. It claimed to encrypt your data and ask for payment, but the data had already been damaged beyond repair. Target, a very prominent US retailer, had a compromise in 2013, and it was a result of a third-party HVAC company being compromised first. The attackers then used that access to literally move into Target's networks. There could be many different types of supply chain attacks or threats from your vendors being compromised. An example of this could be the software you're using for your third party may be compromised. The attacker may be able to compromise the build process or the update process and then use that to deliver malware. There have been the cases of malware being shipped inside hardware. This is one of the most scary forms of supply chain attacks. A lot of hardware comes from countries across the globe, as well as companies that we don't have much control over. The consumers don't have the ability to dictate which hardware manufacturers are used by Google, Dell, HP, or Microsoft. For the most part, we don't know what software resides in each of our chips. This is where hardware forensics can help. Many government agencies and large companies use hardware forensics to ensure that the hardware they receive is not compromised. However, consumers and small companies don't have this ability. So how do we ensure that our hardware is not infected with malware? This is where vendor risk management can help. And as we saw with the example of Target, your trusted vendor's network or people could be compromised. Someone could pay your vendor's software developers to inject malware into code, or your vendor may have been compromised themselves and then their access was used to gain access to your network. There are many other examples of supply chain attacks. These are just the 3 common types. Can you think of any?